Oh, it's a lovely view, isn't it? Tate Modern. Gosh, blimey, what a lovely, lovely view. We're very, very lucky to be here today. Blimey, we've got 10 people viewing. That's rather remarkable. I've got a bit of an admission to make. We've had a complete technical meltdown. I can't believe it. None of the physical wires have worked. This thing got delivered. I should have got this yesterday, and this got delivered today, and I'm supposed to take that up to the loft. So I don't know what we're going to do here today. We're doing this, believe it or not, on a mobile phone sim on a thing on the window. Goodness me. Let me just zoom in a little bit there. We got caught out a little bit on the hop. We've got 20 people watching, which is quite remarkable, actually. Gosh, this is what happens when you hang out with people like Lem Cisse and those wonderful people down at 64 Million Artists. So we're going to have to sort something out here. So what we're going to do, let's just show you how this is going to work. So if you're in Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, not Instagram, Facebook, Twitter or YouTube, you will be able to type a message in to the system, and let me just tweak that a little bit better like that. Oh, we're not going to have it. We have a bookcase free Zoom environment here. We don't do bookcases here at Steamco, but we do spend a bit of time to get things working the first day of the new year. So somebody says here that they can see us on YouTube. Who's that? Hello, Pearl. I might need to put my glasses on to read some of these. This is like a bit of a senior moment here. Pearl Barker. Hello, Pearl. You're on YouTube, so that means, and can you hear us on YouTube as well, Pearl? Leah's on Facebook. Hello, Leah Rossfall. Are you in the UK, Rossfall? Siobhan is here. I always feel quite clever when I say Siobhan properly, because it's one of those funny looking words, isn't it, with lots of B's and V's. And Siobhan, Shivshim, hello. Hey, you're on Facebook. Looking good, says somebody. Steamco, that's not me, so that must be Malumba. Malumba's in just round the corner. He's our artist in residence, inspirator, production manager, absolutely everything. Remember, if you want to come in on Steamco 02, we could test that. Now the problem I've got is everything I'm doing today is coming through a mobile phone. I can't believe that the network's not properly. So what working properly? Somebody here says, oh, we're on Zoom, so that's Pearl. Pearl's in our Zoom call. So we've actually got a studio audience today, believe it or not. Let's just see if this is going to work. I just need to kind of restore a bit of faith in you that we've got some idea what we're doing here. So let's see if we can get everybody up. So everybody in the studio audience is prepared to actually go live, and they know that might happen. So they've got their best backgrounds on, and they've all been involved in this yesterday. We've got 6 people there. That's lovely. So let's pull them up, shall we? What do I have to do to pull them up? I've got to press that button there and that button there. And there's our studio audience. Give us a wave, studio audience. Got 6 people there at the moment. Someone's just muted their camera. That was probably a good call, wasn't it? Fantastic. We've got Chris Crosswell here and Sheila on Facebook. Sheila's on Facebook. So yeah, I have no idea because I can't see. I can only see obviously the brilliance of what's going on here. What I'm struggling to see is what's out there on the internet at the moment, I must admit. So let me just, I might show you what we've got going on here in a minute as well, if that's of interest to anybody. So I'm just going to get that going. So I'm just going to do a quick speed test of the internet. This is where it's going to be. It's not exactly exciting viewing. You have a lovely chat there in that Zoom room, won't you? Let me pull you up here. So you can actually speak now if you want to. Is that Ros? Ros is shaking her head. You weren't having a lovely chat in the Zoom room. Is that what you're trying to say, Ros?
No, nothing's going on in the Zoom room at the moment.
I thought there was a little bit of a chat a moment ago. My goodness, we've got 49 people here actually watching from somewhere. We've got Leah's in, let's get that back there. Leah's in, where does she say she is? In northeast Scotland. Goodness me. Well, if you can see this, and what's it like, Leah? Is the quality reason be good? As I say, because I'm doing it all over a mobile phone. Now we can carry on if it's okay, or I could spend half an hour trying to plug things together in the loft. Thumbs up, thumbs down from our studio audience. Let's have a look and see what they've got to say. Thumbs up, thumbs down, studio audience. The question was, do we spend...
Carry on.
Do we spend
carry on.
Yeah, that's a carry on from Ros, isn't it?
Carry on regardless.
Carry on regardless. That's a true British spirit, isn't it? Okay,
I think we can hear you and see you on Zoom.
Well, that's good. So that's all come. Okay, I'm going to show you. We'll stay with it then. In that case, let me just show you what we've actually got here. You might have a bit of sympathy then if you didn't already. Emma's watching from London. Sound is great. Thanks, Siobhan, for that. So some people that if you want to mute your microphone if you're talking. There we go. Oh, Lily's got a fancy background. Lily's got her I Love Her artwork behind her. She means that she should get a T-shirt for that alone, I think, Lily. That's fantastic. Good effort.
Yeah, I can get my.
And somebody says that the sound is great. Let's get rid of that for a second. So I'll just show you. Now, we are making this up as we go along. We make no bones about that. So basically, the truth is, obviously, I'm sure you've all rumbled it. I'm a bit like the weather person, in that I'm actually in front of a green screen studio in a spare bedroom in Paddington. And if I press that button there, I can show you what's going on here. So there's a computer there. That laptop there is our screen in our Zoom. So that's everybody. You're all in there. Give us a wave, Ross. Come on, give us a wave just to prove this is live internet telly. And we're making it up as we go along. We've got a laptop here. Now, Malumba might be trying to get in. Now, he won't be able to get in because I haven't logged him in on Zoom. So let me just get him in on Zoom there. And this is the first time we've used this since Christmas, and let's turn his volume up. So we've got two laptops there. One's got Roz and our studio audience. That's great. Give us all a wave again. Lovely. Just make sure that's working. We've got Malumba hopefully going to come in there in a minute, and then we've got a third person at the back there who might come in as well. So those are my three videos. This makes Zoom look so easy, doesn't it? And then I've got to control all these buttons here to make the volume right. So if I press that button there, and if anybody makes a noise, we can hear you, but we're going to turn it off quickly before you make a noise. Then here I've got a little box of tricks here, which is my vision mixer. So I press all those buttons to make things come in and out. There should be an iPad there. I might going to have to find that in a minute because my sons must have borrowed that when I wasn't looking. And that's the trouble with projects like this. There's a laptop there streaming out to the internet. That camera there's filming me. That's the PowerPoint laptop with a picture of Tate Modern on it. Over there is where it gets really complicated because in the back I've got a television with 16 different windows on it, two lights. But that's the box of tricks that saved us. Can you see that little box there on the windowsill? That's literally a mobile phone connected to the internet and bringing us the signal. So we are relying on that, and that's something I've treated myself to for Christmas in case this happens. So that's the gist of it at the moment. I don't know how many more people are going to be joining us on Zoom, but we've got quite a lot of people here on, somebody's showing off here. They said they're on Zoom and YouTube, which is obviously classic showing off territory, isn't it? Which is super. Somebody says, I think I'm on. And Joyce, hi, I think I'm on it. Yes, you are on it. You're live and direct. Yeah, so we've got lots of people there. So it looks like that's actually working. So what I do need to do is I do need to sort of find a couple of minutes to compose myself, because I thought I was just going to come on and then get another half hour, and you lot in the studio audience, you want me to keep going, which is not very fair. But not to worry, that's absolutely fine. I have got a drink of water here, so I'm going to have a little drink of water. I'm going to set a couple of things up. I'm going to find you all a little film, actually, just to sort of give you a little bit of context as to what we're up to here. Well, that's not connected to the internet, though, is it? Oh goodness! So I've got to set all these other computers up on the internet, which is going to be lots of fun. How should we do this? Let's do this over here. If I take that to that one, okay, right. Let me just find you. Everything changed when the internet didn't work, because obviously all these laptops now need configuring to connect to that computer over there. So let me just play you a little video that sort of gives you an idea of what we're up to. Is that one connected to the internet? No, that's not connected to the internet either, is it? Oh, it is. Okay, we might be lucky. Oh my goodness. I think maybe we should just stick to Zoom. You know what? Don't try these fancy things. We did do this last year. We had quite a lot of fun last year, and in this film, now you're actually going to see the sort of stuff we did get up to last year. So let's get that going if we can. We're all born artists. The problem is to remain an artist as we grow up. That was Pablo Picasso. And I think we've got to help our kids, all our kids, aim high in life. Not just high, but higher than high. We've got to help our kids find their passion, their art. So I'm Nick Corsten. I'm just a dad. I'm co-founder of STEAMco. One day maybe I'll be the CEO, I don't know. So STEAMco is a non-profit community enterprise that helps connect our kids with their art and our communities with their schools by running creativity days. And we want to get the whole community involved. We want people who've had kids, not had kids, got kids, whatever, to come and work with us to help us run these days. What inspired me? Well, I saw a talk by Sir Ken Robinson. I read half a book called What's the Point of School? On what we should be teaching our kids. And I went to Camp Bestival, which is really a Glastonbury for kids. And I thought, I want this in my kids' school. I've got a lovely little film my dad gave me of me when I was 1 and him with my first ever train set. And I show that to kids in schools all over the country. And how my dad gave me the greatest gift. He gave me my art. Because art is what we call it when what we do might connect us to somebody else. So art could be painting, it could be photography, it could be cooking, it could be coding, it could be dancing, it could be design, it could be DJing, it could be robots, it could be rockets. The fun, the excitement that we have making and firing rockets in schools is to be seen, to be believed.
This is the best day of my life.
This truck contains everything you need to run a creativity festival in a primary school. 30 coding kits with the BBC Microbit. We've got rocket making kits. We do cardboard challenge. We can do the egg drop. We've got a t-shirt printing machine so we can print I Love Art t-shirts. So the kids design their own logo, take a selfie. We've had thousands of posters of those done. That's with JR, French street artist JR. So we've got communities all over the country designing I Love Art logos, taking photos, and we sent them off to JR and he's printed 1,000 of these off for us, which we're fly posting all over the country. So in lockdown, we got an Arts Council grant and we built a green screen TV studio. We've been live streaming events all summer. We did a 3-day Glastonbury event where we built a half-sized pyramid stage from cardboard and code and ran 3-day events. We had Martin and Gary Kemp. We had Glenn Matlock from the Sex Pistols on stage alongside community artists, dads and their kids. And we had a young lad from Leeds called Lenny who played his piano on stage, all virtual. And that's what we want to do. Lockdown's not going to lift in a hurry, and we're running festivals from a spare bedroom here in Paddington, but we need people involved. We want people to collaborate for creativity.
I think they're doing fantastic work to see.
For me, collaboration is everything.
Elton John gave me the greatest gift. Actually, he made a film, I don't know if you saw it, with John Lewis, where basically he tells the story of how he was given a piano as a kid and worked hard and made literally $1 million. I saw that film, ripped it off, put our own subtitles on it, and Elton John retweeted it. It had 50,000 views in an hour, and I went on a 2-week UK tour from Cornwall all the way to Carlisle, showing that film, showing my train set film, talking to kids about art and creativity, letting off rockets, and inspiring schools across the country in our 12 days of Creative Christmas tour.
You've inspired one little boy in particular, a very quiet boy, and as that rocket shot into the air, we heard the words blast off come out of his mouth.
Innovation, technology and dreams rocketing up to the sky.
The state education system, we have a lot of people feel it's been narrowed and narrowed and narrowed, focusing on teaching and testing of highly academic subjects, which are important, which are right for some kids, but it's not for everybody. And some kids come out of the education system literally broken. 9 out of 10 schools in Britain have reported cutting the arts in some way or another, which is a real tragedy. And we're going to lose that cutting-edge creativity that made Britain so famous. Creativity is Great Britain, after all. The ideal future for me would be a whole load of these trucks on the road with passionate, enthusiastic, committed, creative people, helping connect kids with their art and communities with their schools all the way across the UK. As Albert Einstein said, imagination can take us anywhere.
I would like to have steamed cold day in my classroom because we get to learn about what's inside stuff and things. I like science because you get to make stuff.
So that brought me a little bit of time, didn't it? Not a massive amount. So why have I got some echo in the room? That's not good. Where's that echo coming from? 1, 2.
Where is it?
Okay, so those 2 laptops I've got. Can I get a bit of feedback from the let me just get this our chat room up there. Was the video running okay there, Roz? Was it jerky and juddery, or was it okay? Anybody in the...
Fine.
Did the video play fine?
Yep, it was perfect.
Because I'm really struggling to connect anything at this end. Goodness me, so I'm glad about that. So basically what's supposed to be happening at 5:30, we've got, hoping to have Skype, if that works. Going to have a little chat about the project. And I hope you all got an email today actually from me talking about the response that we got from this campaign was truly fantastic. It really was just remarkable, the comments and the vibes. And I know that a lot of people there were commenting about the January challenge itself, but also the project yesterday. Everyone prepared to sort of come on for a moment now. Everybody sort of turn their cameras off for the moment and mute it. I can see Pearl there. Pearl, are you up for sort of having a little sort of telling us what you thought of the challenge yesterday and what it meant to you? Do you fancy that?
Oh, yeah, can you hear me?
That's Pearl, let me get you up full screen.
Yes.
Hang on a second. Okay, so this is the problem we have with Zoom, is that when the signal's not very good, it puts you up in a small window. Your camera seems to have gone. I don't know if that's because I've not got enough bandwidth. It says my data's quite low.
That must be from your end. I haven't supposed to see.
Okay, Pearl, I think we've lost you.
I can see Pearl.
You can see Pearl, because I can't see her at this end, which is not a good look.
Can everybody else see Pearl? And thumb up, everyone can see Pearl. Can everyone hear Pearl?
Yep.
Yes. Yes. We can all see and hear Pearl.
And the reason for that is that you're all out on the cloud.
We can put her.
Oh, I can see Pearl now, that's nice. Okay, so let's put Pearl up.
Want to go on?
The problem we have with this is that Pearl's in a little window, because when the video is not very good quality, it sort of knocks you down. So Pearl, you can hear me now, yeah?
Yes, I can be fine.
Good. So tell us about the January challenge and what it meant to you, and have you done it before?
No, this is my first January taking part during the first lockdown, by pure chance. So yeah, I was really excited to do it. I love a day-to-day kind of prompt, my creativity.
Do you
daily? So yeah, I'm loving it so far.
Do you have a job that one might consider creative? Do you get to use your creativity in your daily work?
Well, no, I'm a full-time mum. I suppose in a way, yeah, I kind of try and, especially this year with the pandemic, we did a lot of schooling at home. So I'm trying to incorporate that into kind of things we used to do at home. At least I did during the first lockdown. But yeah, I guess then day to day, until I started doing these challenges, I kind of had, my thing is photography. I kind of fallen away from it a bit, especially using my camera. And I feel like taking part in them has kind of brought me back to that. I stopped the community to kind of get lazy like that. And then I've always enjoyed making things and trying, other outlets of art. So yeah, for me, I'm loving it. I don't want it to end. Which was more than just January.
So your audio is, I should apologise to everybody at home, the audio isn't brilliant here, because what's happening is that everybody is on a Zoom call and we're feeding that in and we're off phone, so apologies to the audio at home. And your face hasn't moved for about 2 minutes either. Oh, it has now. There is some life there. I don't suppose you've got your artwork to hand. Have you got your artwork?
The one I made for your challenge today. Yeah. I haven't, hang on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm in my kitchen, so there's my one from yesterday. I was a bit late in the day finding the template, so I kind of originally did my own thing. Then I printed it off and I just kind of added that little love heart that I made.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, I remember that one now.
Basically, I'm doing these challenges when my son is doing his schoolwork when it's quiet and he doesn't need me because he's 8. I try and do my homework, so my challenge. So this is what I did yesterday, I think, while he was doing writing.
So while your son's doing his homework, this is your homework, is it? So it's very creative homework. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And what does he think of it? Was he dying? Did he say, look, can you do my homework and I'll do yours, Mum? That looks like much more fun than maths.
I try to involve him sometimes. So today's challenge, I involved him a little bit. It was to do with bubbles. So if we've time, just finding the time now. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, he'd be interested. He knows I'm doing it and he's aware of it. So yeah, if he wasn't doing remote schooling, I think I'd have him doing a lot more creative stuff. Definitely feel that benefits kids.
And what was? I mean, I think you saw the brief yesterday where we say that we've got this phrase from a chap called Seth Godin. I don't know if you've come across him, but this is a book that he wrote, and it's got a green cover, which isn't very good when you're doing a green screen presentation. So, there we go. I'll make that a bit more green. The Icarus Deception. Now, Seth Godin's an interesting chap because he was quite big in the world of advertising and marketing, and let me just mute that. Is that I've got some echo in here, so it's not feeding back. He's big in the world of advertising and marketing, and our agenda at STEAMco is to advocate and promote creativity in our schools, work and lives by joining them all up. Because if we don't get creativity in school and art in school, then it's going nowhere, because that's where everything starts, in school. So really, we're so pleased to be collaborating with people like 64 Million Artists, and we actually were very lucky. Lem Cisse did a talk for us at the top of Barclays Tower about 4 or 5 years ago in London. And Lem has this lovely phrase: creativity is not the monopoly of artists, and everybody has creativity in them. And you could say that from the results that we saw yesterday, some were professional, some weren't so professional, but they were all from the heart, they were all connected, and I just loved looking through them. And in fact, one of the best things for me was looking through the comments last night, which we'll put on the blog later. But in this book, Seth Godin, who's a marketeer, and I have this theory that nobody really cares about kids and schools until they have them themselves. And I know a lot of people will be aghast, and I know you do care, but you care in a different way. Because when you're your children, and your children are quite simply the most precious thing in the world for you, when you put your children in the care of someone, you think, well, actually, there's not enough art in that school, or something I passionately believe in, then you're going to want to do something about it. And Seth Godin is the biggest name in marketing. If he writes a blog, 1 million people will see it. He ran an event in London 2 or 3 years ago. It was £750 a ticket. He sold out in an hour. And it was only 3 hours of him on stage answering questions. But when his child went to school, he had that, I don't want to say come to Jesus moment, or sorry I have, but he had that kind of realisation of the importance of creativity and how school might need to evolve. And this is a book that he wrote about helping people find their passion, as Sir Ken Robinson used to say, finding their element. And I'd just like to read a couple of lines out of this. We all know about Icarus. I mean, Icarus was obviously the young man in the mythology tale who was told not to fly too high. But a lot of people don't realise he was also told not to fly too low and catch his wings made of wax in the water. The Icarus Deception. Art. Art is frightening. Art isn't pretty. Art isn't painting. Art isn't something that you hang on the wall. Art is what we do when we're truly alive. If you've already decided that you're not an artist, it's worth considering why you made that decision and what it might take to unmake it. If you've announced that you've got no talent in anything, then you're hiding. Art might scare you. Art might bust you. But art is who we are and what we do and what we need. An artist is someone who uses bravery, insight, creativity and boldness to challenge the status quo. And an artist takes it, all of it. The work, the process, the feedback from those we seek to connect with very, very personally. Art isn't a result, it's a journey. The challenge of our time is to find a journey worthy of your heart and your soul. And when I looked at that work last night, I really felt a lot of people had come to it with different drivers. Some of them were a bit nervous, a bit anxious about sharing their work. They'd never done this before, or they actually said, this isn't very good, is it? Well, it was fine, it was brilliant. It connected, and that really more than did its job. So Pearl, what are your thoughts around the way that we're trying to define art as being photography, or painting, or cooking, or coding, or robots, or rockets, or fashion? What do you think about this word art? What do you think we've addressed that in this project? I can't hear you at all. That's not very good. Have you muted yourself? No, you haven't muted yourself. Why can't I hear you? Everybody else can hear you, but I can't because this data. Oh, sorry, Pearl. Could you hear me talking then? You could just nod, actually. nods and thumbs ups are all I work with today, by the look of it. I can't hear you, and that's not very good, is it? Just make sure it's none of these buttons. It's none of these buttons. I think it's literally down to the data. Or is your... Let me have a look here. Now your data is obviously quite good now because you've gone full screen. Oh, that's interesting. So why can't I hear you? You can hear me, yeah? Can you hear me, Pearl? Yes, you can. That's a thumbs up. Okay, that's a thumbs up if I've ever saw one on Fuzz Vision. That's good. But I can't hear you, and this is really strange. You're not muted. Let me see if I can get some. Let me just try. Let me go back to everybody and see who else we've got. We've got lots of people here. Gosh. Let me just try somebody else. Anybody else prepared to talk to me? You're all on the screen there. Gosh, that's quite exciting. You're pulling all up on the big screen there. We've got a proper audience here. This is quite exciting. Can anybody make a noise and see if I can hear you? Probably all are making a noise and I can't hear you. That's really annoying. Set up professional audio in audio settings. That wouldn't be a bad thing to try, would it? Speaker to speaker. No, that's all set. I'm not going to set a different speaker because I know that should be working. Unmute. Oh, it's because I muted you. Can you all hear me now? So you could hear me.
Yeah, let me hit you.
Okay, so I'm the idiot. Guess which idiot? Guess which idiot pressed the mute button and then wondered why I couldn't hear anybody. Sorry. So Pearl, I asked you a question, didn't I? And we'll come to some other people in a moment. Where's Pearl gone? There she is, up there. Pearl, so what do you think of all this? Of what I just said in the art thing?
I feel your question was about art and what it means, like all the things.
Yeah.
Painting, drawing, knitting. But I mean, all these creative outlets like that. Yeah, everybody's an artist. I mean, when you think of art in that sense, because you know, just have like this busy world and it's finding the time to kind of come back to things. Probably even forget that you used to love or that you kind of skills you would have had as a kid or as a teenager, and then you mightn't even consider them to be maybe artistic things or that makes you a creative person. But that's why these challenges are so good, because they're like reminders of that, and they kind of, especially the variety of challenges that we get. It kind of but for me, I would find the writing one hard. I'm no writer, so they definitely push me out of my comfort zone, but it's good. It's always good to have that little push to try new things.
Well, I think that's what comfort zones are for, isn't it? I think that's what comfort zones are for, to be pushed out.
Sorry?
I think that's what comfort zones are for, to be pushed out of, to be quite honest. It's got to be done on a regular basis. So, I'm very excited actually, because I can actually see somebody on the screen. I'm going to turn you down just a moment. If everybody else could mute actually, who's not live at the moment. Let's go back to our gallery. Thank you very much, Pearl, for that. We've got a lovely audience here. Let me have a look and see. We've got Rich and Roz there, Fanny, Kathleen, Liz, Alexandra, fantastic. Kathleen, could you mute your iPad volume if you can? Because we've got a very special guest now. So I'd just like to get our special guest up on the screen if I can. Press that button there and that button there to get everybody up. And then I'll press that button there. And we've actually got Jemima here from 64 Million Artists. The $1 million question, can you hear us, Jemima?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. And I know it's the $1 million question on most Zoom calls, but when you've got all the nonsense we've got going on here, then it's an extra important question. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Very impressive set.
Well, it's not very impressive today because it's kind of not really working terribly well, but it's got to be about the first time you've been projection mapped onto Tate Modern, isn't it? That's not a bad start, is it, really? Thank you so much for joining us. So you're at 64 Million Artists. Can you just, for anybody who's here who doesn't, well, I can't imagine it, but just maybe give us an overview of what that's all about?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, and hello everyone. This is a slightly bizarre experience. Sat here in my living room, but I was very pleased to see so many faces. I'm Jemima Frankel. I'm the communities manager at 64 Million Artists. 64 is a non-profit organisation that believes that everyone is creative. So the name stems from the idea that all 64 million people that live in the UK are creative people. It's actually now about 68 million people, but we didn't think about that when we named it. That live in the UK are creative, and we find kind of playful ways to activate and celebrate that creativity. So we do lots and lots of partnership work. So we'll work with various organisations and work with facilitators and kind of creativity champions and change makers around the country in schools and libraries and hospitals and local authorities and workplaces, and we kind of celebrate this idea of cultural democracy and distributed facilitation. So it's all about enabling and empowering others to facilitate creativity groups and kind of work out what that means to them. The role that I play at 64 is looking after our communities work, and that involves creative challenge work like the January Challenge, which is happening right now, and today we are 2 weeks in. The January Challenge is one of my absolute most favourite things that happens throughout the year. We crowdsource lots and lots of fantastic quick, fun and free creative challenges, and then curate them into a programme and send them out every day. And this year we're working with 3 very special collaborators who have helped us select the challenges. I'm not sure, Nick, if you've explained, if you've spoken about that part yet.
Well, I hate to say it, but all we've really done is the me show, where I've just been moaning about my technology. So assume I've said nothing, Jemima, and tell everybody about it.
Okay. So usually we always crowdsource the challenges, and usually the 64 Million Artists team puts them together into a programme that we think is fun and varied and accessible. And this year we thought, right, 2020 has been a stonker. We need to go for it this year, and we really wanted to get lots and lots of people involved and new audiences involved, and thinking about, how can we kind of further stretch this idea of what the January Challenge can be. It's in its 8th year now, so we thought, right, what works about the model, and how can we play with it and develop it further, and that's where this idea of the 3 strands came in. So it was inspired actually by the BBC Radio, which similarly is set up for all 64 million artists in the country. The BBC Radio is for everyone, but not everybody listens to Radio 1. Not everybody listens to classical music, not everybody listens to 1Xtra. So we were inspired by this idea of different channels, and that's where working with these collaborators came in. So we are working with poet and author Lem Sisay, journalist Yomi Adegeke, and comedian and part-time superhero Jess Tom, aka the Tourette's Hero. And invited them to choose their favourites and choose challenges that they would enjoy, but all family and their networks to enjoy, and collections that came in, and it's been amazing. And we've had such positive feedback, and the challenges have really kind of taken on a new lease of life. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. We're 2 weeks in. I can't believe we're only 2 weeks in, and I can't believe we're already 2 weeks in. But yeah, give us a feel for some of the projects.
Give us a feel maybe for some of the projects that you've done in the last couple of weeks, Jemima.
Some of the challenges that have come up.
Yeah.
Yes. We kicked off with the challenge, so and that was a really nice way to start off, because it was reflective of the collaborators and their kind of tastes and interests. So Lem did a writing exercise called I Remember, where you had to start off every line with I remember, and as soon as you've gotten to the end of the line, just start back again. I remember. Don't need to be too prescriptive about it. You don't need to know what you're going to write about it, just see what comes up. And that was some really interesting things came out of that. Yomi's was lost and found. So what do you want to lose in 2020 and find in 2021? So sort of like a time capsule, and people could gather them physically or draw or illustrate. And Jess's, I love Jess's, it was a conversation with a lamppost. So the idea was, because of her Tourette's, she very often will have conversations with inanimate or familiar objects around her, and she chats away to a lamppost outside her bedroom window every night.
Oh, brilliant.
Her challenge was to think about, it was really good, was to think about what you would say to a familiar object around you and what might they say back. But yeah, we've had all sorts: poetry, drawing, making, sculpting. We've had ones that involve finding things. We had Find a Rainbow the other day. We had Wear You're Happy, so choose the clothes that bring you joy. It's very easy in lockdown to pick the clothes, pick up the clothes off your bedroom floor if you like. So we had a challenge from Karen Arthur to Wear You're Happy, which was a lovely one. Yeah, we've had all sorts, and we've got lots and lots coming up. We're only halfway through, so there's lots of exciting things coming up.
Fantastic. I'm just going to put a shout out. I don't know if anybody's got any questions for Jemima. Anybody in the in our Zoom studio audience, or even anybody outside. If you've got a message outside in the audience, then you can just pop that up. Let me get rid of that one. Hang on a second. Just pop it up in the message in the messages on Facebook, on Twitter, or YouTube, and we can ask her that question. Anybody in our studio audience? Let's flash to the studio audience over here for a second. Press that button and that button. Anybody in the studio audience got any questions for Jemima? Hand up maybe, if anybody's got a question or an experience or a moment. I'll tell you something that was very special for me yesterday was seeing all those messages last night from people, and I'm going to take all the credit because all they were doing was commenting on the activity we had yesterday. It was nothing to do with the January challenge generally, I'm very sure. It was just the I Love Art thing. I'm only joking, Jemima, I wouldn't be so rude. You must get such a lovely buzz from the feedback you get from people who participate in this. Is that the case? When you get those messages?
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, it's always really, really wonderful to hear positive feedback from people. But what I find truly, truly amazing is the impact that it has on people's well-being and mental health. Especially at a miserable time of year like January, the weather's bad. We're all coming down from Christmas. The whole pandemic onto that, and people really, really get a lot from it. And seeing that in people and hearing that from people, and my favourite is not so much the kind of glowing reviews. That's amazing. What's the thing is hearing the little stories that you tease out of people or that come to you. So there are thousands and thousands of people taking part in the January challenge, and we see the tip of the iceberg in social media. So we've got over 700 schools taking part this year, and you think about all the kind of micro ways that people engage in them, or the way they'll just read a challenge in the morning and think about it through the day. You don't even necessarily need to put pen to paper, but it might just set off a train of thought. And sometimes we'll get messages in August saying, I saw that challenge come through in January. And then I was just chatting to my colleague just then, and it just made us have that conversation. And I just wanted to let you know that this came out of it. Or you'll chat to people and they'll say, oh yeah, I was chatting to my neighbour about the January challenge. It's those little community stories that come out that that's my favourite part about this job.
Those are the two C words, aren't they? Connection and community. I mean, you've got, how many days are there in January? Hang on, 31 days in January. So you've got 31 days of this, and I know that these things, these deadlines come at you like a steam train, don't they? I mean, that's why I'm always on the back foot, because I get up in the morning, I've got plenty of time, and suddenly I'm late. Now, I've got a bit of bad news for you, because we've got a question here from Emma Ring, and Emma Ring asks, why can't I get that message up on the screen? Go up on the screen. There we go. Can we have more challenges for the February lockdown, please? So there's your February gone as well, Jemima. Sorry about that.
Well, we run challenges throughout the year. This is the lesser known thing about 64 Million Artists. We run a weekly challenge. Again, they're all crowdsourced, but we run them from February right through to December. And then we do our big takeover in January. It's coming. You can sign up to receive your weekly challenge email every Monday morning, and the Facebook group is just as active throughout the year. So don't worry, the challenges are not stopping. They're gonna stay. And if you would like to set a challenge, which is always a really fun experience, as I'm sure you can recommend Nick following your challenge yesterday, is seeing your ideas come to life, because your ideas are often a reflection of your values and your community and your creativity.
Well, absolutely.
So using that to inspire other people, you can set a challenge for us.
Well, there you go, everybody. Set a challenge. Now, I just like, having set that up for you there, we had a question in from Emma, so thank you for that, Emma, that question. Everybody in our studio audience there, you have no idea how much it means to somebody like Jemima. She's worked 16, 17 days, no, it's 14 days flat out on this challenge. So is anybody going to come on and just say to her one little insight, one thing that the project or something their child said to them, or something that made them think, or a memory, any of those little connections? Anybody put their hand up and give us one of those in our studio audience? Let me have a look here and see if anybody's going to do that. Anybody got one? Oh, they've all blanked their cameras by the look of it. Or maybe that's just the technology going a bit crashing on me. Or you can just speak, actually, because I can hear you if anybody just wants to speak. We can hear you now. I think I've unmuted the... Has anybody got anything to say, or they're all hidden? Every muted... Oh, we got a hand raised. Oh, hang on. It's Kathleen. Thank you. Oh, Kathleen. Where's Kathleen then? Oh my goodness, we've got lots of people.
I just want to...
Hang on a second. Is that Catherine speaking?
Yes, it is, yes.
I'm trying to get you up. Hold on a second. There we are. Go for it, Catherine. Kathleen, sorry.
I just want to say that what I find quite marvellous about 64 million artists in the years that I've been doing it and the January challenge is that people actually set out to be really positive and supportive of one another. And there is that ambience there that you've somehow created. I don't know how, but you've encouraged people to be creative and sharing and kind to one another. And there seems to be an awful lot of emotional support given to people through the 64 million artists, and I want to say well done and thank you for that.
Well, it's lovely, isn't it?
Thank you so much, Kathleen. That's what a lovely thing to hear, and yeah, it's the community that builds up around the challenges it just takes my breath away every year. Like there's something about I think it's testament to creativity in the way that it helps us express ourselves, and I think that the whole concept of the January challenge from start to finish has got positivity at its core. So it's really brilliant to hear that you kind of feel that so strongly, and I agree with you that our Facebook group in particular is just a wonderful place to be, and it's and it's also just a snippet of the kind of actions that go on in different parts of the internet and also offline as well. So yeah, it's a pretty special thing to work on.
There was somebody yesterday who made it. Thank you very much for that, Kathleen. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else in our Zoom studio audience got a lovely little comment like that? Because it's this sort of stuff that I think gives everybody a nice fuzzy feeling, actually. Because I don't know about you, but I'm fed up of going to Zoom calls and Zoom conferences where you can't actually say anything or be part of it. When you've got a big mouth like me, that's quite frustrating, really. I do like to have that opportunity to connect and engage. Malumba's down here, actually. Malumba, can you... Malumba's our artist in residence and has worked with us for about 5 years now. Let me see if I can get Malumba to... Do you want to unmute Malumba? Do you want to come on? You can unmute if you want to. If anybody else wants to come... Oh, Malumba's unmuted, but he's got a blank screen. I don't know if that's me or you. You haven't got your video going by the look of it. Do you want to talk to us, Malumba, and see if we can hear you?
It's not you, it's me.
You're singing me.
It's not you, it's me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you, Malumba. Yeah, we can hear you. We just can't see you.
Oh, sorry. I've been busy.
Oh, I can see.
We can see you.
I've been listening to your conversations and been on Instagram the whole entire time, looking at all the different works that were submitted on this I Love Art theme, and it's just the range of it is astounding. I mean, people's imaginations when it comes to such stuff can just blow your mind away. I mean, people do things that they draw in the sand, they have collages of their loved ones, they use paint, they use ink, they use pots and pans, they use found objects. It's just marvelous to what extent people will go to do creative things. So this is really wonderful.
We've got a few running up on the screen now. I can't see you at all, Malumba, but I believe that everybody else can in the Zoom room anyway. And we've actually got some of the work. I'll be honest. I should have said this earlier on. Malumba just sent me a message because we've been going through this all day. We haven't been able to get everything catalogued. So we were very, very keen that the prize be random, because as somebody posted very early on yesterday morning, this creativity isn't a competition. Creativity is just about having a go and sharing. So we really were very keen to do this randomly. And when you see the quality of some of the work that's coming up here now, you'll appreciate why that was our objective. It looks like we've got Malumba's just zoomed in by the look of it, so we can get Malumba up there now. There's Malumba. So this Zoom's a bit of a nuisance when it...
I thought I've been there all this time, was I not?
Well, no, it's not your problem. It's just that because we're on a mobile phone link here in the studio, we're actually not able to get the pictures through, but you're on screen now. So Jemima wondered who was talking. She could just hear this random voice. So
you're showing some of the work. Brilliant.
So, yeah, somebody wanted to speak. Who was that?
Rose.
Go for it, Rose.
It's Rose.
Go for it, Rose.
Rose.
Yep.
I've got a deep voice, but I am Rose.
I can hear you,
I just
Rose.
wanted to say this is my first time. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep, lovely. Carry on.
Oh, you can hear me. This is the first time I've come across the organisation and the January challenge, and I just wanted to say I've got long COVID, so I had a bad year last year. I got COVID early on, and I found art last year was probably what saved my life, to myself and out of myself, in different ways, whether that's writing and whatever you were saying earlier. I don't think it matters. I mean, I was probably 3 or 4. It doesn't matter. It's the process, and it's enjoying it too. That I think is so important, and that's what I like about the challenge. I look forward to it every morning, and it gives me, especially at the moment when we can't really go out very much, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you to the people who've set it up and contributed. It's been a bit of a lifesaver this January. Thank you.
Well, Jemima, how do you answer that? Gosh, just makes it worthwhile, doesn't it?
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Roz. Thank you. Just what a year, and it has affected so many different ways, and especially when your health is affected. I think lots of mental health has been affected, and lots of people's health has been affected. And I think like the interesting thing about the January challenge is that it's a bit of a through line through all of that. I think lots of people take part that do have various health conditions, and it's really important to us that we make our work as accessible as possible to as many people as possible, and that's with that real belief in the fact that it does make you feel better, and it makes you feel part of a community, and it helps you express yourself. And so that it's lovely to hear your feedback, because it kind of I suppose it just confirms a lot of things that I truly believe in, and absolutely, there are 2 weeks of that good stuff left to come. There's still challenges throughout the year.
And that was mine that just came up.
And
your art just came up, did it, Roz?
There we go, that was serendipitous.
Sorry, I've got it running on a little loop at the moment.
Yeah, it just came up, yeah.
Got a lovely message here from Ruth Bourne, actually, which echoes what you're saying there, Roz, actually.
I'm sending you some more from Instagram if you wish.
I'm going to struggle to get them up, actually, Malumba. These are all in little edit at the moment. But we've got a lovely message here from Ruth Bourne saying, really enjoying this. My second year of the January challenge. I wasn't going to do it at first because of lockdown blues, and I'm so glad I decided to have a go. It's a great experience, and the community is so inspiring. And I think the community that's on Facebook and on social media, it's just lovely, those comments, isn't it? And sometimes I think just the acknowledgement of a tick or a like or a little heart, when somebody's looked at what you've done and they've commented or just acknowledged it, is wonderful. Would you agree with that there, Roz? Have we lost you, Roz? You would agree
I mean,
with-
I will, yes, I can hear you. I said yes, but I think it's very heartwarming, it's feedback, yes. And I haven't seen in, 2 weeks, I haven't seen one unpleasant comment at all.
Well, that's a very good
Which I
observation.
think these
isn't it?
days is quite something.
It's a lovely observation. And maybe like attracts, art attracts.
Nick,
Yes.
could I say something?
Yes, absolutely. Who's that? I'm struggling with Zoom here, I must admit, because I've got my data. But just tell me who you
Can I
are.
say something?
Of course you can.
I'm another Rose.
Another Ros Mortis, is that by any chance?
It's Ros and Richard, but I'm the only one here.
Okay, what does your name say on the screen? Because I'm struggling to find you at the moment. Sorry.
Rich
Rich and Ross.
Rich and
on the
Ros.
screen.
Rich and Ros. I'm the Ros.
Okay, I can't see you on the screen at the moment. Hang on a second. It'd be quite nice to pull you up, wouldn't it? Let's go to actually speak of you. That would just do it, wouldn't it? Ros Mortis, is it? No, that's the wrong Ros. It's the old Ros.
No. Rich and Roz.
Okay. Oh, this is so slow.
She's next to Kathleen's iPad.
Oh, am I?
Let me have another look. Not on my screen, she's not. Okay. I don't know why. Oh, there it is. Okay, it was the other side. Not to worry. Let me pull you up then. So, go for it.
I've nearly forgotten what I want to say
I bet
now.
you have. This is still 2021 just about, I'm glad to say. Sorry.
I just want to endorse
It was something on the back of. It was something on the back of the comment about how only nice things were being said, and it's so easy to say bad things at
I
this
just
time of the year.
wanted to endorse everything that Ros has just said, because we're shielding at the moment, and both my husband and I have found, I'm shielding for him, but have found that it's really difficult to concentrate in these times, and I'm a very arty, creative person generally, but it's been really like almost a mental block. So when I found out about this challenge, which I've never done before, I thought, well, that will really prompt me to actually do something. And like Ros, I look forward to it every morning. I'm working 3 days remotely from home on supporting autistic children, and so it's just a nice release after that to be able to be creative. Even if I'm not always happy with what I've done, I just think, well, and there's such lovely comments that everybody gives, or a heart, or a tick, or whatever, and that's really lovely. It is a really lovely community. I hope you heard that.
We did hear it. It's lovely. It's lovely to hear you saying that. And I think that it's those C words, community, coming up again. So, Jemima, you were going to say something then. Carry on.
Just again going to say, the community is really special, and I think there's a kind of a real sense in the community that there is no right, there is no wrong. People love it when people have a go at new things, or it's not about being fantastic or creating a masterpiece. It's about having a go and kind of sharing what comes up when you have a go. Lots and lots of people in the community just observe, just have a look at what's going on, and still get a lot out of that. Some people do all 31 challenges, some people do 5 or 6. There really is no right or wrong way to take part, and I feel like people really understand that when they become a part of the community, and I think that's reflected in the positivity and how uplifting it can be as a space to share positive things, and also things like, I think there is something about the safety of the community that doesn't allow for that there as well. So yeah, it's fantastic to hear your reflections. Thank you.
It's interesting, actually. Somebody popped a comment up here. Let me see if I can find that again. Message here from Wendy, actually. Wendy Mundy says, this is my first year and I love it. I rarely do anything creative and I've surprised myself, proud of my work. And she says the Facebook site is simply wonderful, looking at everyone's work. It's just a joy, isn't that lovely? here we are talking, and a lot of people say that Facebook's rubbish because all they ever see is pictures of people's breakfasts or Donald Trump's been banned or whatever, but it's not the platform, it's what we do with these tools that's important and where we use them to connect. I mean, what's your experience of how Facebook works for you, Jemima, on the project?
Yeah, I mean, I think Facebook's wonderful because it really lends itself to kind of the community spirit in that people can see quite clearly what everyone's doing, and you can comment and you can like and you can share, and as I kind of referenced earlier, like Facebook is just a part of the community. It's like a so it's a very special place, and then we find that the kind of interactions and community that is attracted to the January Challenge on Twitter is different and equally as lovely, and Instagram is different and equally is lovely. And then of course there's the huge offline community this year because it is harder to be together offline, of course. We're kind of really thinking about how we animate and celebrate that community and provide spaces for people to chat. So we have a few things coming up. My colleagues Yashoda and Olive will be running a creativity session for young people. My colleague Chris will be running a session for men, and we've got a few kind of little surprises and things like that coming up over the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned because there's lots coming up. For example, tomorrow Lem Sisse is taking over our Twitter, so he'll be directly replying to people on Twitter. He and Jess Tom are also in our Facebook group and kind of see what other people are getting up to. There's things like Yomi's doing an Instagram live next week to talk about the challenges and how she did this year. So yeah, I think as much kind of entry spaces for community and connection, the better, and Facebook is a wonderful example of that. And there's also a huge amount more, so it keeps us busy but in a very, very
wonderful. Well, no, it's just great. I think it's how we use these tools. I'm a bit of a Seth Godin buzz, but he says that Facebook, Twitter, eBay, Uber, go down the list, they're all about connection. eBay's connecting somebody who's got something to sell with somebody who wants to buy something. Airbnb is about somebody who wants to rent a house with somebody who's got a house. It's all about these connections, and I think it's just wonderful the way you're using this and how creativity is at the heart of it. One of the things that you mentioned a moment ago, Jemima, is that kind of well-being thing, and the lovely comment there from Roz as well echoed that. There's a phrase in the world of art, if you like, the art establishment and the Arts Council, a thing called social prescribing, isn't there? Are you familiar with that as a concept? Frozen completely. Have we?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So social prescribing,
yes.
And do you have examples? Do you actually work on projects with the health service, for example, at 64 Million Artists, which is about using art to, instead of tranquilizers and products like that? I mean, do you have experience of that? Is that something you get involved with?
It's definitely a conversation that we're part of, and a conversation that's kind of increasingly growing and that we're staying plugged into. We Roz was referenced earlier having long COVID, so we have various projects in the pipeline for long COVID patients, looking at creativity as a tool for well-being and recovery. So yeah, it's that kind of the arts and health world is definitely somewhere that we are highly interested in, and quite often will be invited to various conversations exploring it. I'm really interested to see where that conversation heads in the next few years, because I think it's definitely growing and gaining momentum.
Well, one of the interesting things
like this, when actually access to doctors.
Obviously, Matt Hancock's very much in the news these days. He used to be at the head of Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport, and I know he's very keen on technology and creativity and art and culture. And I know that social prescribing is something he's very keen on. So once hopefully he's got this virus thing under control and got the vaccine out, then hopefully we can see the NHS investing in projects like yours, because it's absolutely wonderful. Anybody else? I know Jemima's got to go very soon. The problem we're going to have is we had so many responses, we haven't been able to go through them all. And we do want to do this as fairly as possible, so we're going to have to work out a way of doing the draw, because we're going to struggle to do it now, and I don't want to just resort to picking out the best or the worst or whatever. So I'm so sorry we're not going to be able to draw that now. I'll take one thing I will tell you now though, is that the chances are going to be very high. So what I'm going to do is try and get this working, and I'll ping you all, and I'll do a draw tomorrow, and if you want to log in and watch it, then you'd be very welcome. If you don't, then obviously we'll email you the winners, but that will all be done very properly and proprietarily. But we were just overwhelmed by the responses, and we didn't want you to have to go to a form to enter either. Anybody else before Jemima heads off? Any last comments to Jemima from our studio audience? Anybody out there still who wants to just put a quick word in? I can't see anybody. Lots of people have sort of got their hands down. That's fantastic. Well, Jemima, I can't thank you enough. And I'll try and tweet. You say Lem Cisse's on Twitter tomorrow, did you say, for you?
Yeah, he'll be on our Twitter account from 1 o'clock tomorrow. So if you get a like or a comment from 64 Million Artists tomorrow, it'll be from Lem. So do come with your questions for him.
We'll send Lem lots of I Love Art logo signs, lots of love for Lem, because Lem is an absolute superstar. Out of interest, is there anybody in the audience, studio audience, who hasn't seen Lem Cisse's TED Talks or heard his Desert Island Discs? Because if you haven't, if you do one thing tonight, go and listen to Lem Cisse's Desert Island Discs. It is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful radio, and another example of the creativity and a human connection. Anything else to say, Jemima? I know you've got a day to plan tomorrow, so I'm going to let you go. Don't you worry. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, no, thank you, everyone, and yeah, thank you for setting your challenge and being part of the challenge. It's a very special project, and we love finding moments of connections like that. Thank you, and tuned. We've got an exciting couple of weeks coming up.
Thank you very much, Jemima. We'll speak to you soon. Bye bye now. Bye bye. Well, that was nice, wasn't it? Gosh, anybody? As I say, we're going to struggle to do the draw tonight, because we're not going to be able to do it properly, because entries were still coming in today, and we just got absolutely overwhelmed. And then Malumba has been doing his best to do that. Anybody got any more comments that they'd like to make before we finish? Who haven't we heard from? Anybody we haven't heard from? Lots of people turn their cameras off. They're probably having their tea or something, so that's absolutely fine. Malumba, are you there still? Do you want to come back on? Oh, that's the rattle of Malumba's microphone. I know that microphone rattle. Whether we're going to be able to see it, and I apologise again for the technology. The whole system's gone down. By tomorrow, I'm going to get the whole thing going again. Got lots of wire to sort out and plug in. Looks like Malumba isn't here. Ros, you've been fantastic. Have you got a couple of moments just to do you want to sort of say some last words? Because I think you've made the show tonight for me. Everybody else obviously is great as well, but oops, let's get rid of, and we'll come back to Rich and Ros if they want to as well. Let's so Ros, you're centre screen. Oh, Malumba's there now.
And I think I've already said what I need to say.
That's all
I
good.
just think it's I don't know about if anybody can sing. Unfortunately, a long-term effect is I've got damaged vocal cords. But I was talking to my grandson, who tells me he can't sing, and he's not a little boy now. He's a big boy, much bigger than me. But there comes a point, like, everybody draws at school, everybody paints. I mean, I come from the era when we did lots of art at school. I know it's not quite so free and easy now, but everybody had, you weren't told you can't draw or you can't paint. If you give children paints and crayons, they all do it. Children sing, and they do these things very spontaneously, mainly in an uninhibited way. But at some point, and this is what I was saying to my grandson, that at some point somebody must have told him he can't sing, because if you've got vocal cords and this is something physically wrong with you, you can make a noise, you can make marks on a paper, you can get some plasticine or whatever. It's all creative stuff. But unfortunately, there are people around that tell you can't. They get in your head, like is it earworms or whatever, and somehow tell us that we can't do things. and nobody's got the right to tell us that you can't do things. We can do anything we want to do. I mean, I don't know. I won't try and sing right now, but if I want to, I do. I get on my exercise bike. I can't ride a bike outside, but I do make croaky noises, which I think is singing, and that's good enough.
Well, I think that's
so it doesn't matter what you do, does it?
That absolutely is good
I
enough.
think it's just what I'm saying is ignore what other people think and say. It doesn't matter.
Well, all I'd say to you, Ros, is I'm so glad you came back on, because you said you've said everything you've got to say, and you have just absolutely summed it up. Quite honestly, you have just summed up the Arts Council's 20-year strategy in one, because their strategy is called #Let's Create. No, absolutely, you can laugh, but these are simple things. You know, these are simple things we're talking about. The power of human connection, the power of we say that art is creativity, tools, and people. Creativity, the ability to do something that's maybe original or different. The tools could be technology, they could be chalk, they could be your voice, but it's the people that make this, and you've been wonderful today, and it's so lovely to hear that the impact that this project's had on you, but it's not, all it's done is unleash something that was in you all the time, and that's what we've got to do with these projects. And I'm delighted to meet 20-30 of you today, and hopefully this year, we're calling this our Inspire a Nation 21 year. We're going to be doing tours all over the country, doing events like this, because next year in 2022, the government have a national festival of creativity. Did you know about that, Ros? You heard about that? No? So they've got £120 million for a national festival of creativity, 10 big projects, and they're working on those now, and we're hoping that maybe we can do something like this at what they call grassroots, by connecting people. And we're trying to find 22 people like me to go out on the road, to run events, to do these live streams in their communities, because it doesn't have to be national all the time, and just connect everybody together with their art and with their creativity, that thing that makes us human, really, at the end of the day. So thank you so much, Ros. You've been absolutely super. Just going to go back to our gallery there. We've got a couple of people there. Hands up if anybody else wants to say anything. I'm going to pull Lily up. She doesn't have to say anything, but she's made my day today, because she is so... Oh, is she going to turn her microphone off as well? Hang on.
No, on. I just turned it on.
You have you've bossed it today. Let me pull this up. Hang on a second. There we go. Look at Lily's there. She's bossed it. She's got her I Love Art logo behind her. Oh. That is, if I was empowered, don't move yourself. No, it was good having you on there as well. I'm going to bring myself back up as well in a minute. This is my selfie. I need a selfie.
I'm just letting them see the logo.
I'm going to get a selfie of this. Hang on. I've never. I don't usually tend to take selfies on computer screens. Look at that. There we go.
Yes, you do.
Shush, there we go. There we go. That's my selfie of me and Lily there. So that's fun. So Lily, just read out what it says in the middle of your heart. Can you remember? It's behind your head now. I don't know if you can see it.
It says, yeah, I'll need to, yeah. It's a quote from Henry Thoreau, and it says, "It's not what you look at that matters; it's what you see."
Absolutely spot on. So you're a practicing artist, I presume, are you? You're an artist by trade, or?
Oh God, no.
God, no. Well, blimey, that was world class.
No, I'm not very. I wouldn't consider myself. No, I wouldn't consider myself being very good at art.
Well,
I just doodle.
Well, I think
I'm not an artist by trade.
You've done a lovely job
away
there.
From that.
No, that really is that's a really lovely job. And I love those pens there, make it look a little bit more, even more kind of arty and trendy as well, don't they? It looks like someone's going to fall on your head in a minute.
Yeah, it was only when I went to take the photo I thought, actually, it just needs something else.
It's lovely, lovely. So what did the project mean to you? Did you enjoy doing that yesterday?
I did, yeah. In fact, I did two, because I did a silly one as well. But I think it's just that, I think it's like other people have said, it's the challenge to actually do something. So like I've been doing a lot of drawing ones in this, and I quite like writing, and I think I'm not too bad at writing, but I wouldn't consider myself very good at drawing. So it's like I've been choosing a lot of the drawing ones and trying to sort of push myself a bit in terms of drawing and doing more visual things. So it's been really good. And I think everybody else has said, that whole sort of community of it, people are really encouraging and like what you do, and it's 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 just, you know, with the lockdown, I think we're probably all a bit fatigued with it now, and it's just like that little early in the year bolster to think about something else rather than just what you can't do. Think about what we can do.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Absolutely. It's almost, I think it's almost given us almost that license when nobody's looking, and we can just experiment and we can try new things as well. Which other activities have you engaged with that stand out for you?
I've done some poetry. I've done some writing, quite a bit of drawing. And actually, for the first few days, I didn't publish anything. I didn't put anything on Facebook because I saw what other people were doing, and I was thinking, "Oh, that's fabulous." But then I thought, well, you know, I'm just going to stick my stuff on there, and people were just really nice, kind responses, encouraging. You know, laughing at things that I put on that were a bit funny or making comments. So, and I think the other thing is it's been like sort of an hour a day that's just about being creative, not thinking about what needs to be done, not thinking about work, just thinking about, I don't know, reimagining a fairy tale or reimagining a story, and thinking about that and thinking about what would that look like if I was going to draw it. Even though I can't really draw, what would it look like if I wanted to draw it out? And that sort of thing, just very relaxing and challenging at the same time.
And is this your first January challenge?
It is, yeah. And I didn't know about it until this year. It was one of my Facebook friends who shared it, our niece actually. So then I thought, oh, that looks interesting. So, and I do the wild card one, so it's like there's some sort of quite off-the-wall challenges.
Fantastic.
I haven't done today's yet, so that's my homework for later.
Do you, just out of interest, I mean, you've got children, did you say? Did you...
No, it was a niece who told me about the challenge. Yeah, no, we don't have children.
Well, and that's interesting, you see, because what we do with STEAMco is we help communities run creativity days in primary schools. And a lot of people say, I haven't got kids, I'm not interested. Well, I'll be honest with you, it's the people who haven't got kids that we're interested in, obviously subject to our safeguarding. But if we can get people like you who are so enthusiastic about being creative, you don't pretend to be an expert, but if we were to run a creativity day in your local primary school, and you were able to go in and work with some of those kids, you know, with the teachers in the room and helping and make sure everything's all okay, would that be something you'd like to do out of interest? Because we want to do this across the whole country. We want to get people like you who've not had kids, never going to have kids, whatever. Because the great thing with you can take them back at 3 o'clock, you see. You haven't got the sleepless nights and all the worry. And what are your thoughts about, you know, because some people just need a nudge. Some children just need a bit of encouragement, don't they?
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in that because, I mean, I work in children's services anyway, but it is something I'd be interested in doing because I think children, I saw one of the challenges today and it was from a 6-year-old and it was the blowing bubbles challenge, and I thought only a 6-year-old would have thought about a challenge of blowing bubbles in different types of liquids. I can't think of an adult I know who would have thought of that challenge.
And that came from a child, did it, that challenge?
Yeah, a 6-year-old.
Isn't that interesting?
Girl who likes blowing bubbles.
And Lem Cisse chose that. I can see how he might have chosen that because I can just see him being a naughty bubble blower. Fantastic. Yeah. I'm just trying to find a photo of. We did. Let me see if I can find. Where are we? Here we go. I've got a good bubble photo here actually for you. Where is it? Oh, quick! No pressure. I can't find it. Oh dear, where's it gone? Oh, you can never find things when you want to, can you? Oh, here it is. What am I talking about? There we go. I'm just going to pull this up 2 seconds. So I'm just jiggling around on the other computer. Bear with me a second. So this is a project I started at my son's school just up the road in a little primary school in Paddington. We're based in West London, Paddington here. And here is a picture of, there we go, Isambard Kingdom, Brunel blowing bubbles with the kids. What do you reckon to that bubble then, Lily? You see that one?
Fabulous.
That's a bubble and a half, isn't it?
What a massive bubble.
But the funny thing is, you see, that's something that we saw once at a festival, a place called Camp Bester, which is a bit like sort of Glastonbury for families, and all it is 2 bits of stick and a bit of string and some liquid. But a lot of children wouldn't dream of having that opportunity to do that. So, you know, this is what this is all about, really. It's about just opening people's eyes to opportunities that are around as much as anything. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming back on there again. That was lovely to have a little chat with you there. Right, so what we'll do is we'll send over you an email tomorrow. We'll get all these pulled up. We'll probably do it again the same time tomorrow night, just quickly, just go through and do the draw at 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Won't keep everybody quite as long as this. So thanks very much for coming on there, Lily. You've been super as well. I think most people have got Rosie's waving goodbye. Thank you very much. Anybody else there? There was somebody who yesterday talked about creativity not being... Bye-bye. Somebody talking yesterday about creativity not being competitive, and I forgot to email her. There's nobody here, is it, by any chance? I've got this feel. It's not you, Pearl, is it? No. Anybody itching to say something? Anybody want to come on quickly?
Hello, are you there?
Hello, Melinda. I can hear you.
Funny enough, I was just on that guy's page. It's Bohem Gifts is the name of the person. They said, I love art. Oof, I did not like this challenge for many reasons. The competitive angle to it was a big turn-off for me. So I decided to invent a new verb and use that. For me, art is about losing myself in the process, learning and exploring, whereas creating is, by definition, bringing something into existence. Of course, the two are entwined, but if for me, I'm arting, I'm lost in my own imagination and can escape all the noise and negativity in the world for a while. So this person, art is just really about escapism. Is that the person you were talking about?
It's not, but that was a lovely suggestion. I had an email exchange with them, and today's just been a bit crazy. Now, let me just see. Oh, that's not going to work.
We put the definition of art to get lost in the process of using a medium of choice without expectation or focus on an end result.
Well, that's a lovely definition of art, isn't it? That's for sure.
It's just about doing, about letting yourself go.
I can't find
letting go.
So I've got a feeling that the person was Emma. Yes, is Emma Rucastle. I don't know if she's around at the moment. She's not in the Zoom group, is she? Should have emailed her. Not to worry. No. Okay, well I think we're going to probably going to call it a day there. If anybody's got anything else to add, let's just see if any more messages, any last messages. People are dwindling off. We've got some lovely feedback here. What does this say? Alison Jane Underwood, thank you. Great to hear so many people on the same page as me. Everyone is creative. They just need an understanding environment in which to explore. That's lovely. Sheila, lovely comment from her. I've enjoyed this session. Don't worry about the glitches. Well, that's reassuring. Thank you, Sheila. Ruth treated us to a little emoji there, a little hand clapping emoji. That's fantastic. Got a comment here from Anne Joyce. I'm looking forward to working on and developing the ideas that I have had so far. So that's lovely as well. And yep, some lovely messages here. Emma Ring, thank you. It's been really good. Denise is going to come back for the results tomorrow. Somebody here says, I miss my friend, but she's doing the challenge too. So every day we share our creations. It gives us something to chat about. That's a lovely comment there. And I can just see Lem. It's lovely actually having Lem's face there, because I know Lem will be loving that if he was watching that at the moment. Superman. So if you get the chance, as I say, do check his Desert Island Discs out. So Melinda, I think we need to crack on and get these get these entries sorted out, don't we? What do you think?
Yeah, I've been doing that this whole entire time.
You've been cracking on. So, any idea how many? I think it must have had about 200. Do you think?
From Instagram alone, I'm at 60.
Wow, just one platform. Okay, so I think we've got about 200.
So,
well, what we'll do is we'll get them all into a little animation like we did here. This is a lovely little stream, I think, actually giving everybody. And we'll do a little video with all that, and we'll stream that on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. And when we get that done, we'll do it properly. So thank you all very, very much for joining us today. We got there in the end, didn't we? I can't believe we've managed to do this with nothing other than a mobile phone connection and a bit of cable. I'm gonna have to spend the night up in my loft, I think, getting everything working. Malumba, you've got a few hours work. You all right to crack on with that?
Yes, I will crack on with it for probably another half hour, and then early in the morning I can continue.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That's great. We'll get that sorted out tomorrow. I'll give you a hand tomorrow. So thank you very much. But see you later, Malumba. Bye-bye. Thank you.
See you.
And thank you all for joining. I think we'll just have a quick look through some of the work that came in yesterday. Lovely examples here. Just a very, very small sample of the work. We've got some lovely stones here. I love this with the sticky tape and the way that they've used the tape. They're beautiful. I mean, they're all so different. And up to now, we've been kind of prescribing the I Love Art template, but it's been lovely the way that people have just been so open. This is one of my really funky. That's a really in-your-face one there. It's really, and the negative. This is almost like bubble letters, which I love that one. Lovely flower one. That was lovely. This is very powerful actually. This reminds me of the kind of Black Lives Matter power kind of thing. Lovely one here with the jewellery on the screen there. Very few people included themselves in the picture. That's fine. That's we've actually had them printed up as massive posters actually, which you may have seen in our little video earlier. This is quite a nice one. Oh, it's a lovely one. Every one of those little stars there represents a grandchild for that lady. So that's a great. This is an Earth without art is just A. In the middle of Earth is art. Lovely. Just free sketches and drawings here. People put so much effort into this. It really is lovely. There's one of our templates. This is lovely with some pipe cleaners somebody said they'd found in their collection. I think that was one of the ladies who were on today actually. That's a very, very pretty one. A foodie one, I Love Art with raspberries, blackberries. The one I'm wearing actually is a Keith Haring inspired one, the New York graffiti artist. Lovely collage there. Is that the one we had a minute ago? No, I need to spin that around. How did that slip through? That reminds me of James and the Giant Peach. That's beautiful. Look at that. Lovely. And this one's lots of hearts. That's a beautiful one. Well, they're all beautiful. Another Earth. A world without art. A world without art is just air. Lovely, lovely. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's been really special to chat to everybody, to meet people, to talk to people, to share their art, to share these connections. Because as we say at Steamco, art is what we call it when what we do might connect us to somebody else. Your art could be painting, photography, cooking, coding, robots, rockets, dance, design, DJing, drawing as we've seen here, tarot cards, pipe cleaner robots. Just a wonderful project. We're so honoured to be part of this. Little French joke there. When you're French, you drop the H. I Love Art with cats. I don't know if you heard our chat with Suggs of Madness back in the summer, but he's been painting his cats. 2 of them died, so he stopped painting them because he thought he was jinxing them. He only had 1 cat left. Just lovely, lovely, lovely. And this is just the start of it. We're going to put all of them into a little animation like that tomorrow. We've been very, very grateful for support this summer from the Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport, the National Lottery, the Arts Council England, and an organisation called LGFL, who've enabled us to do some amazing things this summer. Believe it or not, we actually got this working quite a few times this summer. What you see here is a little animation, a little film that we made about a lovely little lad in Leeds called Lemmy. And Lemmy has cerebral palsy. He can't hold a paintbrush, he can't hold a pencil, he can't hold a knife and fork. But Lemmy every day plays the piano, and he joined us at our Glastonbury stage this summer.
I've been playing great tunes on my piano.
On a cardboard pyramid stage.
Thank you.
That we made for a festival, a 3-day Glastonbury festival. Creative carers are people like all of you, people who care about creativity, they care about children, and they care about all our futures, and that's why art is so important. And as I say, we're very grateful to the government, to the Treasury for the grant to buy this equipment and to pay for us to do this. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
One day, this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created.